Tonight, we're learning that 3 of the crash victims had ties to California. 2 were brothers from Redding, and a woman, Ann Musiaki, worked for a Bay Area tech company. We'll have more on the victims in just a moment. But first, Night Beat's Joe Vazquez is live at SFO with the call to ground those Boeing jets tonight. Joe?
And Liz, there is a growing concern among passengers, among crew members and pilots, and even politicians after it turns out that 2 of the same kind of jets crashed in a similar way since October. As investigators pore over today's wreckage in Ethiopia, they can't help but compare this disaster with another crash about 6 months ago in Indonesia that killed 189 people. It's the same type of plane, a Boeing 737 MAX 8. Pilots of both jets reported technical difficulties. They struggled to gain altitude before making a steep nosedive and crashing within 15 minutes of taking off. In the case of the Indonesia crash, investigators have since concluded there was a software glitch with the automatic pilot system. It's a sensor that falsely tells the plane the nose is too high, which then triggers the nose dive. Officials say the pilots desperately tried to manually pull that plane back up out of the dive 20 times in 11 minutes before they eventually crashed. Officials say it's too early to know if that's the same cause of today's crash. They have recovered 2 black boxes, which should help.
So it's going to tell us a lot about how this airplane was flown in the last minutes. And also, it's going to tell us about how the airplane was flown in the previous flights.
Several countries, including China and Indonesia, have grounded all 737 MAX 8 aircraft. Not the case here in the United States, where Southwest, American, and United say they believe they're safe and will keep flying them for the time being. U.S. Senator Dianne Feinstein wants to change that. She issued a letter tonight calling for the planes to be temporarily grounded in the United States, quote, until the cause of the crash is known and it's clear that similar risks aren't present in the domestic fleet.
For the time being, if they're just nosediving, then I think it would be a safe idea to get them to ground the planes until they can fix that bug.
There's a lot of traveling going on. It's just better to be safe than sorry.
Another factor that investigators are going to look at is experience. This pilot was 29 years old, didn't have a lot of hours flying. Some of the more experienced pilots are saying that, you know what, they should have been able to figure out how to climb out of that nosedive. But a lot of other people, including pilots' unions, are very disconcerted about the fact that there's a software glitch that forces that plane into that nosedive in the first place. Reporting live on the Night Beat, I'm Joe Vazquez.
Tonight, we're learning more about the 2 brothers from Redding who died aboard Flight 302. Friends say Melvin and Bennett Rifle were on vacation while traveling through Africa. Bennett is pictured on the right and Melvin to the left. Both brothers graduated from Shasta High School. Flowers were placed at the bell tower outside St. Joseph Church today. That's also where their mother works as a secretary.
The community, we've been through a lot of things this year. Very supportive community. Just this morning after the mass, people are, offering prayer, offering their help.
Family members say Melvin was expecting his first child this spring. And tonight we're learning an employee at a Bay Area tech company was among those killed in the crash. Ann Musiaki worked for a company called TechSoup based in San Francisco. She was a regional lead in Africa. Ann was a wife and a mother and was returning home from an event with TechSoup in Italy.